Katy, thanks for taking the time finally to speak to me. I apologise, I'm probably the last on the list ahead of the film's release, but it's nice to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you too.
So, yeah, so where do we find you? I spoke to Lucy the other day. She was in Los Angeles. So are you in somewhere equally as glamorous, or?
I mean, you could say so. No, I'm in sunny, well, not so sunny Bolton today.
Okay, fantastic. So yes, the answer is yes then. Excellent.
Absolutely.
So congrats on the film. I saw it a couple of weeks ago now. Really enjoyed it. We'll start off by sort of going into the story of how you got the role, really, because I think there's an interesting way. I think you apparently auditioned for a different part. Is that right? And then you ended up bagging the lead. So what
Yeah.
happened there?
Well, I rocked up for the audition that my agent had sent me for, and it was for a much smaller role. And I read the scene. I did a couple of improvisations, and they're all there sort of looking at each other, and I'm thinking, oh God, what have I done wrong? And and Melanie, the casting director, sent me out and was just like, can you just give us a minute? And then I got sent away with the script. I had about 90 minutes to sort of inhale the whole thing, and went back and read for Janet. And then a few days later was in London for a recall where I met Lucy and Tiger, and yeah, and then it was like, found out on the day I'd got the part, which was just like bonkers. And then a few days later was in Rhyl in a costume fitting, and there we were for 3 weeks. It was just, yeah, it was surreal.
So how much time did you have to prepare then? Because it sounds like it was literally.
Yeah, less than a week. Oh, wow. So that was full on, which was such a shock to the system, because I mean, it's so funny how the industry is so interchangeable, and you just think like one day, you know, you could have had nothing for like 6 months, and then all of a sudden, like, it's like buses two come at once.
Yeah.
And it's mad, because the job I'd just finished, I think my audition process for that was across 9 months.
Oh.
So to have that, it was just like, what? but brilliant. I mean, that's the fun of the job, isn't it? It's always so interchangeable and changing all the time, and it's fun. That's why I love it. It keeps me on my toes.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like it's been quite a journey, and obviously the film's literally about to be released. So talk to us about Janet, the character that you play, and how she kind of fits into Me, Myself and Diane, the story in general.
So Janet's an absolute sweetheart. I fell in love with the character as soon as I read the script. I just think she's not really been given a chance in life. She's always been living in her best friend's shadow, and they've not had the best relationship, let's just put it that way. And so she wins this trip, and Di convinces her to change herself. That's going to be the way forward for her finding romance. And without giving too much away, it's sort of a journey of figuring out that actually who you are is absolutely fine, and just gaining some self-confidence, some well-needed self-confidence, bless her. And it was so nice to get to play that role with them. You know, seeing her go on this lovely journey and finding out who she really is, and yeah, I just think, bless her, I just want to give her a hug.
There's obviously parallels between like a Bridget Jones type character. Would you say that's would you agree with that? Was that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, gosh, I loved all the Bridget Jones films, so being compared to that is absolutely yeah, I just think it's so nice, and you know, and a few people have made a comment about it, you know, me not being a stereotypical sort of, I think someone said about a cookie cutter version of a romantic lead, which I like, because everyone deserves love, don't they? It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, you know, we're all deserving of love, and I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And we briefly spoke about preparations and the lack of time to do that potentially for this, but you've got great on-screen chemistry with Lucy Pinder's character. And Lucy, generally, I presume. So how did you get that to work so well? I mean, clearly you got on away from the screen as well, but you presumably you didn't know each other before. So how did you gain that sort of bond between the two of you?
Well, like I said, I met her at the recall, and instantly we're in this little waiting area. And we were just having a good old chat, and instantly just got on. She's just so wonderful. She's such a warm and lovely person, and I think we just hit it off right away. And obviously to get that relationship on screen, you know, as soon as we arrived, it was sort of like, you know, spending all this time together, and also we were sharing a caravan, you know, so we lived together for the 3 weeks, which, you know, was brilliant, because one, it meant we could run lines, and and two, it was just like you get to know somebody so quickly. And she's just brilliant. I think she's awesome, super talented, and such a lovely person. She was great to work opposite.
Yeah, and the rest of the cast are great as well. There's obviously some
Yeah.
well-known names in there. You all look like you had a whale of a time filming it.
Yeah.
What was it like on set with all these great actors and people you know, and these big personalities, basically?
Well, that's the thing. You know, it's such a huge ensemble cast, and everyone's just fabulous. And we just had an absolute riot, and everyone behind the camera as well. Like the whole crew was just brilliant. I mean, I think we had probably a bit too much fun filming, but yeah, it was just. I just look back on those 3 weeks and think, gosh, it was so intense, but also just so brilliant. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It was brilliant.
Was there a sort of particular scene that stood out for you to shoot? Was that, you think back and think, oh, that was great fun, that was a great day?
Oh my goodness.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it all, but I don't want to be that person that it was all, but I think the first day, I know this sounds a bit daft, but because the first scene we filmed was that opening shot of me like skipping down the street with my protein shake and my sausage. And it was just like, oh, this is really happening. Like, this is, and I think for me, it was just like, oh, wow, here we go. And I think that just sort of set the tone. We were all just having a laugh instantly from that scene. So it just sort of spiraled from there, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see a British film that isn't, you know, about gangsters or anything like, you know, horror or anything. It's just a light-hearted comedy, and you know, it's great to see that on stage, on the screen, to be honest. So do you sort of have favorite sort of films of that kind of genre that you know it harks back to? Did you bring any of that sort of fun from films you'd seen in the past to the screen with your character? Or
well, I mean, growing up, an actor that I idolized was Goldie Hawn. I think she's just incredible, and her daughter Kate Hudson is awesome as well. And I just think, you know, I loved that, like Overboard and what was it, Private Benjamin, and First Wives Club and stuff like that. And I just I don't know, I've always aspired to that. So I just think she does. It's glamorous comedy, a thing, but do you know what I mean? And obviously Janet's far from glamorous, but I just think, she has a makeover, but but yeah, I think comedies are just great. And I think after this pandemic, I mean, goodness me, I think we just need feel good fun, don't we? I mean, of course, the serious stuff is great, and I love it, but it's just, I just think it's going to be nice for people to get to go to the cinema again, and B, just have something that you can sit and watch, and it's just like, and hop on the journey with us.
Yeah, absolutely. It must be a while since, obviously, you shot. I think it was 2019 you shot it. Yeah. So, you know, obviously in 2021 now. So what's that journey been like, waiting for this to come out? Because obviously you've had I'm sure you've been working on other stuff as well, but you know, it must feel like an eon ago that you made it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember what happened since it's been that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a meeting where we caught up January 2020, and it was just sort of like, this is the plan going forward, and you know, and then obviously COVID happened, so that just put a massive delay on stuff, and obviously cast and crew normally like the last people to see it anyway. It's so, because if you see, I'm guessing, yeah, of course you see.
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't think Lucy's seen it. Well, certainly when I spoke.
No. that's the thing, and it's just like I know Lucy can't wait to see it because obviously she's not back from LA until I think a few more weeks time. Yeah. So sadly she's not going to be at the screening tomorrow, which would have been lovely to get to see it together. But we've said we'll have to sit and watch it together at some point. Yeah. But yeah, it's such a long way, and I just hope people enjoy it as much as we enjoyed filming it.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to the film and shooting it, so we can all relate to sort of caravan holidays in the past. I'm sure you can. We've all been on at least one, some more than others. But is there one that sticks out from your childhood or your earlier years that you can sort of relate to some of the, not all of the things that happen, because there's some wild stuff that happens to me myself and die. But is there anything that you can like? Yeah, that's true. I remember that.
I mean, the more sort of sentimental side of it, I used to go to between Rhyl and Rutland to see my grandparents as a kid, and we'd go to like Kimnall Bay and you know and so that side of things I quite like, and it'll be nice for people to see who've had those holidays up in North Wales, and there's some gorgeous shots actually of the bits I've seen anyway, and yeah, but I mean, as a kid, oh goodness me, I just it was talent shows for me. I'm complete opposite of Janet. I'd be the first to sign up. So yeah, those elements I remember very, very well. And we used to go on like we'd double up with another family, and we'd go on these camping holidays to the Lake District. And I remember being we were on a boat, and the stream got a little bit keen. We were just like, oh, the panic sets in of like, oh God, Katy's running down a stream somewhere. But yeah, it was fine. I was probably doing a gracious wave, thinking this probably looks quite cool. But yeah, no, it's nice, isn't it? Sort of that nostalgic throwback to childhood holidays. And again, there's another reason for people to watch it. And also quite current, because that's what everyone's going to be doing this year, aren't they? So
100%, absolutely. I live on the coast, so I get to see it all the year, and you know, it's I've just literally ran into the house from being out and seeing everyone down on the beach now. It's so everyone's enjoying that this year because they can't go abroad. So yeah, you're right. But looking back at your career so far, it's 20 years you've been doing this nearly, right? You don't even look that old to have had a career for 20 years. But, you know, you've done TV series, shorts, you know, films before, obviously. What do you take away from the experience of this particular film?
Oh, goodness. I think for me, it was the challenge of being a lead and having, you know, such a hefty amount of lines and screen time. And I think that was so exciting for me because it was just a character I could really get my teeth into, you know, and because as much as she is adorable, and it's not necessarily like she's got, you know, I mean, do you know what I mean? It's a light-hearted piece, but it was nice to be able to get some real character development, because obviously with stuff I've done in the past, if it's just been sort of like a guest starring role and you've got some good, decent scenes to get your teeth into, but because obviously it's across the whole film and you get to see from start to finish, I think that was really nice for me to get that, and a good challenge as well. I think that's one of the things you love as an actor. It's getting different roles and different challenges through. So yeah, that was really good.
I suppose physically as well, you must be in most scenes, if not all of them. I can't remember if you're in every scene, but certainly you're in, and that must be a step change in itself, just to have that physically as well, because it must be exhausting, I'm guessing.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not great with early mornings, if I'm being honest. And you know, waking up at 6 o'clock to be in makeup for 6:15. I mean, poor Claudette, I'm sat there like, oh. But yeah, so, and then, you know, like a really full-on day, and we were doing six days a week. And I mentioned before about buses. The only thing I had booked in was I was doing a workshop for a new musical that was booked in for 2 days. So I had to sort of go to Trish and say, I'm going to need a day off. So it timed in with one of my days off and then another day. So it was just sort of So I had to take the Janet hat off and then sort of put this new musical hat on, and it was just, yeah, it was bonkers. So I'm not gonna lie, I slept for about 2 days after the shoot because I was absolutely exhausted.
Obviously, I noticed all the sort of the equipment behind you and that sort of thing. So I guess what my last question is, what's next for you? What is it? Stage? Is it musicals? You just mentioned musicals, but what do we see you in next? Is there anything on the horizon?
Nothing on the horizon at the moment. We'll just have to see. I mean, obviously, as we know, with the pandemic situation, I'm just hoping that, you know, things are starting up. It's brilliant. I mean, hopefully, touch wood, you know, with the theatres reopening and stuff starting up again. So yeah, let's just see what the future holds. I'm very excited for whatever's next.
Absolutely. Well, congrats with this. You're a star in it, and I wish you all the best and enjoy your screening of it tomorrow. I can't wait for you to see it.
Thank you. I know I'm going to be like a kid at Christmas, although I probably will be watching it the whole time through my fingers, but it's absolutely fine.
Well, it's lovely to meet you again, and yeah, thanks for taking the time, and good luck.